Johnson Show. The Cowboys find some bright spots in their loss against the Giants. Troy Aikman's our star of the week, and Jim Jeffcoat takes us on the line. Buccaneer quarterback Vinny Testaverde joins us from Tampa Bay, and Babe Laufenberg starts a controversy. All this and a whole lot more next. Jimmy Johnson Show with Dallas Cowboys head coach Jimmy Johnson and co-host Ted Dawson.
Welcome to the Jimmy Johnson Show. And Coach, I know it was not a good game in New York, losing to the Giants for the second time in 3 weeks. But did you find some positive things?
Well, Ted, I think some good things happened. We're never going to be happy with a game that we don't win, but yeah, I think our offense is starting to gel. The new players that we put in the lineup. They're starting to learn the scheme, and we were able to move the football against the Giants. We had 20 first downs, and were able to put the ball in the end zone a few times, so I was happy with that. I was happy the way we were able to control the ball at times, and we played a little bit better defense. Now, we weren't as sharp in the kicking game as what we need to be.
What about the success you had on first down? How did that come about?
Well, you're going against a team like the Giants, and you've got to do some things different. We ran some reverses. We ran a lot of play-action passes. We threw the ball a lot on first down. Here's a pass to Dennis McKinnon, a first down pass. It picks up a first down. It's a situation where you cannot go by the norm against a team as talented as the Giants. Here we are running the ball down on the goal line, and this is the first rushing touchdown that the Giants have given up this year. A great block by Alonzo Highsmith on the big 245-pound linebacker. Nate Newton turns his man out. Novacek has a good block over on the linebacker. See, I mean, that's a key block, and nobody really talks a lot about Novacek's blocking, but Highsmith blocks the linebacker, and a fantastic move by Emmett Smith. I really think this guy's going to be something special, and especially when you start going up against a team that's not quite as talented as this bunch in blue.
Really makes a nice cut here, doesn't he?
Oh, you know, he's in midair, and again, you have to have everybody blocking that way to get it in the end zone against the Giants. Here, you're going to have Albritton, 16 tackles against the Giants. He got probably more action than what we wanted him to have, because hopefully it won't get back to the secondary that much. But, you know, he really is a physical football player. You know, he's a big hitter. He is a quality individual. He really plays well for us. And here Jay Novacek catching the ball from Troy. Jay had 9 catches for 85 yards. He is leading the NFL for tight ends right now with receptions. Really a quality player, and especially when you consider he's only played in 2 full ball games. 2 of the games he was hurt and really didn't play the entire game.
And Troy had the best game you've ever seen him play?
I tell you, it's really the best job of quarterbacking I've seen Troy do. He did a lot of good things. Everybody talks about the 21 completions, but he also had 3 or 4 throwaways to avoid the sack. You know, he dumped the ball off. He really did some good things as far as controlling the game itself, and so really happy with the progress that Troy's making as a quarterback.
There's no question about it. Then with that kind of performance, Troy Aikman is our star of the week.
Troy Aikman had the kind of day all quarterbacks dream of, which is being able to stand in the pocket and throw the ball without being sacked. And with a quarterback as talented and determined as Troy, that means your offense will come up with some big plays.
We were able to do some things with the running game. We were able to keep them off balance yesterday with play-action passes on first down. We were moving the pocket around with the boots and that type of thing. And you've got to keep teams off balance if you're going to be successful.
Sure, Troy has thrown some passes he would like to have back, but that's part of the learning cycle. It takes all 11 players on each snap to handle their job if the team is going to be successful. And when that happens, Aikman will have results like this.
I feel like I'm seeing the field, seeing what defenses are doing. I've got a better understanding of what we're doing offensively, and I don't think there's any comparison where I'm at today compared to a year ago. Statistically, that may not show. I've had a number of interceptions up to this point, but I feel like I'm throwing the ball well.
Very few quarterbacks come into the National Football League and are successful as rookies.
That's because it takes time to learn how to read defenses and make the right decisions. But Troy is showing the maturity required to become a star in the NFL. For the Jimmy Johnson Show, I'm Craig James.
Thank you, Craig. Coach, is reading the defense, is that the big thing for a quarterback?
Well, that's the big thing, and the speed of the players. The other thing that makes it nice for Troy, we did not give up a sack, so the line blocked a lot better. Gave him time to read those defenses.
We'll be back. We'll talk about the line and take you on the line with Jim Jeffcoat when we return on the Jimmy Johnson Show.
The Jimmy Johnson Show is brought to you in part by American Airlines, FINA, First City, Texas, GTE, and Miller Lite.
The game of football seems simple on the field, but off the field, the business of football isn't. Because players depend on trainers. Trainers depend on assistant coaches. Assistant coaches depend on the head coach. The head coach depends on the front office. All of them depend on communications. And that's why the NFL and its teams depend on GTE. Now, isn't that the kind of support your business should depend on? GTE, the telecommunications consultant to the NFL.
Late meeting?
Yeah. And we talked a great deal about all the good things happening in Texas. How you and I are from there. And how I'll be running the new office down there.
We're going home?
The time for Texas is now. And the bank for Texas is First City.
One of the most important drives towards the 21st century was a test drive, not of a car, but of a gasoline. Independent engineers conducted a test developed by BMW that analyzed intake valve deposits, performance, fuel system cleaning. What they found was a gasoline created with the same drive as the car it powered. The super unleaded Genesis gasoline. From your friends at FINA, the formula for the future.
This week's Fans Forum is brought to you by FINA, your friends with the formula for the future. Should the Cowboys use some draft picks to get a proven NFL player?
I think they should hold on to the picks and draft the guys and keep a young team and just keep improving like they're doing.
Not knowing who we have, the big P for potential, is scary. You know, right now I wish we did have more proven players and then worry about the big P as time goes on. But I think right now we have a great team.
It's going to be difficult to sign 3 #1 picks in the draft simply because of the salary structure unless they get a cap. And I think they would probably do best by trading a couple of the picks for a proven player.
Well, I think they ought to do like the Washington Redskins did when they got Wilbur Marshall. You know, they traded their 2 #1 picks for a big defensive player that really solidified the defense. I think that's what the Cowboys need to do.
But this is the guy who's going to make that decision. Are you a poker player? Are you kind of sitting here with a poker hand and maybe bluffing your way as to what you're going to do with it?
Well, with as many draft picks as what we have, we've got a lot of chips in front of us.
Yes, you do.
We've already used a few of the picks for some proven players, Alonzo Highsmith, Danny Stubbs. Most of the picks that we have over the next couple of years, and we've got a lot of them, will be used for the players coming into the draft out of college and try to get the young players to build the team, you know, with the young players.
Well, one veteran player you already have, of course, is Jim Jeffcoat. Jim takes us on the defensive line.
Jim, you guys made some progress last week against the Giants as a team.
Yes, we did, Craig, but I feel that the time for just making progress is over. We need to go out there and win some games. We have to go out there with the idea that we're going to win some games.
Let's talk about a big play you had against the Giants in your sack.
All right.
Jim, the outside pass rush. What does it take to get around an offensive tackle and make a sack?
Well, first of all, you got to keep your shoulders low and rip your arms through and keep a tight corner. As you see right there, I'm just trying to get around that corner and keep it as tight as possible.
Plus, you got to have good coverage downfield to allow you the time to get there.
Yes, that's true. It's a lot depending on what your defensive backs do.
This week, you guys go against a player, Gary Anderson, that is very talented. How do you prepare for him?
Well, you have to prepare for Gary Anderson, and you're right. He is a versatile back. He can catch, he can run the ball very well, and he does some amazing things. But you also have to look at the other weapons they have. Vinny Testaverde, Mark Carrier, and Bruce Hill. They all, and of course, their tight end, Ron Hall. They have a lot of weapons that they can attack you with, so you can't just focus on him. You have to focus on that whole offensive team.
Let's look at one of the plays Anderson had a few weeks ago. It was an unbelievable play.
All right.
We've talked about Jerry's running and pass receiving ability. On this play here, he's trying to throw the football. He can really put a lot of pressure on a defense.
Well, that shows his tremendous athletic ability right there. He does so many things for him, and as you can see, he's going to pass the ball, but then he comes back and he just makes a tremendous run. That's just awesome talent right there.
And putting a lot of pressure on spreading the defense out, having to be able to cover the entire football field.
Yes, he does, but you just have to focus on him and make sure that somebody's on him all the time. Somebody's hitting him or somebody's grabbing him and just keep him contained.
Playing at home this weekend, does that give you an advantage?
I think it does, because we'll be in front of our fans and we'll hear them cheering loudly for us, and we just have to go out there and play well against Gary Anderson and the rest of that offense.
Good luck. We'll look forward to talking about it next week on the line.
We have something good to talk about.
You got it. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thank you, Craig. Talk about Gary Anderson, but the rest of the offense is Vinny Testaverde. And Vinny will join us coming up next on The Jimmy Johnson Show.
Sunday, October 28th at Texas Stadium. The Cowboys take on Buddy Ryan and the Philadelphia Eagles. Call 214-579-4800 for the toughest ticket in town.
All I wanted was some ice cream, but Mom takes me to this place, TCBY. I wonder what they sell here. Hey, this looks neat. Wow, it tastes like ice cream.
TCBY, the country's best yogurt.
Mom's been so nice to me. Maybe I'll clean up my room. Nah.
All the pleasure, none of the guilt. TCBY.
It's the greatest.
Blue skies, carefree, red boats, tranquility. Oh, there's something special in the air. Blue skies, white sand, no trouble, life is grand.
American Airlines with flyaway vacation packages to all these sunny destinations.
Silver bird, take me where there's something special in the air.
Now's the time to get your fireplace ready for the long winter months ahead. Patel Chimney Service invites you to take advantage of the early fall special, free inspection and estimate. An efficient fireplace can save you money on your heating cost. Most important, considering the rising electricity cost and heating bills, Patel Chimney Service is experienced and trained to help you. Let Patel take care of your fireplace repairs. Smoking, loose, or cracked firebox, old chimney, or old shallow firebox. Take advantage of Patel's early fall fireplace special and call now.
Oh, hi there. It's I Burned Bacon time again. On Thursday's news tab, I'll announce my picks for 8 football games. Your picks have to be in by midnight Friday. And if you beat me, you get an I Burned Bacon t-shirt and a chance to win tickets to the Cotton Bowl. Pick up your cards and send them in to I Burned Bacon, P.O. Box 5309, Abilene, Texas, 79608. You know, it's all in the wrist.
This Denny Freeman with Associated Press. And Jimmy, as we all know, you coached Vinny Testaverde at the University of Miami. And you've been seeing a lot of film on him this week going into Sunday's game. What do you see now that's different about Vinny than when you were coaching him?
Well, Denny, there's not a whole lot different other than we probably threw more passes at University of Miami than what he's throwing now at Tampa Bay. And looking at his career there at Tampa Bay, I think he's having the success now, leading the NFL in passing efficiency, probably because his supporting cast has improved over the last couple of years.
Well, speaking of Vinny Testaverde, one of the finest quarterbacks of the National Football League, joins us now on the Jimmy Johnson Show. Vinny, thanks for being here.
Sure, it's a pleasure.
Vinny, it's good to see you.
You too, Coach. How you doing?
Pretty good. Let me ask you this, Vinny. You know, we've got a young quarterback here. You know, Troy Aikman. It's his second year, and he was a highly touted player coming out of college, just as you were. What was the most difficult thing for you to adjust to in going into professional ball?
I think the most difficult thing for me was just getting used to the different talent out there, and the pass rush. Everything happened so much quicker compared to college. You know, and I remember when Troy first came out, they were asking me if I had any advice
to give Troy, and that's the one thing I said, is just to be patient, and because things are going to happen so much quicker, and you just have to stay in there and work hard at it.
Well, I tell you what, we're so proud of you. You know, for what you're doing now, you're leading the league in passing efficiency. The first start of your career there at Tampa Bay, it was difficult. You know, you had success in college, and then you had some difficult times, and now you're back on top again. What was the worst thing about going into a team starting from scratch with so many young players?
Well, I think coming from a program like ours down in Miami, things were going great, and winning every week, you get used to it, and all of a sudden you come to a team that really hasn't won in too many years, and all of a sudden you're with a program that's losing, and it makes it real hard on yourself, and you try and do things that you normally wouldn't do, and just start forcing the ball like I did a couple years ago, throwing a lot of interceptions, and just now with some of the new talent we have, makes my job a lot easier.
Vinny, thank you very much for being our guest. Real quickly, knowing him as well as you do you have a little advantage going up against the Cowboys this Sunday?
I don't think so. Knowing him as well as I do, I really don't think so, but we're going up there. It's going to be good to see everybody, but again, as Coach told us in college, every trip we go to is a business trip, and once the game starts, it's down to business. Right, Coach?
That's it. We'll see you Sunday, Vinny.
Okay,
Thanks,
Coach.
Vinny. Appreciate you being with us. We'll be back. We'll talk about the keys to the game, and certainly one of them is that guy when we return.
You asked for it, you got it. For just 95 cents a minute, the Cowboys Hotline has the latest information and lets you talk back to Jimmy and Jerry. Call 1-900-2-COWBOY today.
Texas could bring them. Miller Lite's biggest photo to benefit Texas Special Olympics. It's gonna be big.
You better move real fast if you want to try Chilito. Whoa, it's a limited time, only better get on the road if you want to try Chilito. Taco Bell, 50 beef in a sauce, Miss Tom's and cheddar, and a soft tortilla now, buddy, you better pull out the stops if you want to try Chilito. 79 cents. You better make a run right now for the border. You better move like a cheetah if you want to try Chilito.
Last year, 76 children died in senseless murder. Yet killing a child in Texas is not a capital crime. That's not justice. That's a tragedy. When I'm governor, we're going to have some new rules. A death penalty for those who murder children, and I'll make sure it applies to those who kill kids by selling them drugs. It's time to make the punishment fit the crime.
Clayton Williams for governor.
That's the way to make Texas great again.
The keys to the game, brought to you by General Rent-A-Car. Offense.
Offensively, we really have to build on what we did a week ago against the Giants. I really feel good about the progress that we have made, and I feel like that we can establish the running game, and in fact should have more success running the football against Tampa Bay than what we had against the Giants.
The group that's playing now has been together for 2 ball games, basically. We look to keep working on the things that we've been doing in the past couple weeks, getting more repetitions on the plays that we're running in practices and in the games, and then executing them better in a game.
The players are a little bit frustrated. I'm a little bit frustrated. I think everybody is, we're looking to improve, and yet we're moving some people around. Tony Slayton has been moved as the backup guard, but he has actually played very well, and has done a very nice job. John, we're going to give him a chance to go in there at right guard, and he has performed well. He's got very good strength. He's got good strength at contact. He moves his feet real well, and he's a pretty instinctive player, which helps.
Defense.
Defensively, we really have a challenge going up against Vinny Testaverde and Gary Anderson and Reggie Cobb. I feel like the biggest concern is the big play potential of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They have outstanding speed, they have great receivers, and they have outstanding running backs.
They're actually making their living running the football. They're fourth in the National Football League in rushing offense, which is outstanding. You don't just run the football occasionally and accumulate that type of reputation. So they're running the ball about 6 or 7 times a game more than the Giants are. So we've got to shore up our run defense and go from there.
Probably the biggest key is controlling Gary Anderson. He's having a great year. He's a great athlete. He's been a big addition to Tampa's offense. He's a guy that's capable of having 1,000 yards rushing and as well as 1,000 yards receiving. He was a big play guy in the USFL. Right now, I think he's the 3rd leading rusher in the National Football League. He's averaging about 102 yards per game. Had a big day against Minnesota last week, and so we've really got to bottle him up and keep him from being real effective.
They've made their offense a lot simpler, and they brought it down, and they do certain things, just a few things, but they execute very well. So we're certainly going to have to out-execute them, and they're running the ball real well. They've got the people that can do it, and they're averaging, I think, about 138 or 140 yards per game rushing, which is pretty good. And they stand pretty high statistically as an offense, throughout the whole league.
Special teams.
Special teams really play a large factor in a game like this. We feel like that we can have an advantage in the special teams. We excelled in the first 3 ball games and really had a setback against the Giants, but because of our overall team speed, I feel like the special teams can make some plays for us against the Buccaneers.
We'll have to combine the kicking, combine the effort, combine the coverage so that Peoples doesn't hurt us or beat us, which he's capable of doing. If we keep these people under control, then that will be a contribution to the winning of the football game.
Jimmy, you've had some health problems this week. Guys have missed practice. How serious is it?
Well, we're concerned especially with the depth at defensive tackle. Danny Noonan has a shoulder injury. Willie Broughton has a back injury, and so we are concerned about that. Eugene Lockhart should be able to play. Ray Horton missed a lot of practice at free safety. We'll have to wait and see right there pregame warm-ups who's going to be healthy enough to go out there and play.
Well, one guy you can always count on being healthy enough is Babe Laufenberg. Hey, Babe, coming up next on The Jimmy Johnson Show.
For all the Cowboys news fit to print, pick up an issue of the Dallas Cowboys Weekly. Call 214-556-9972 and order your subscription today.
Blue skies, carefree, red boat, tranquility. Oh, there's something special in the air. Blue skies, white sand, no troubles, life is grand.
American Airlines with flyaway vacation packages to all these sunny destinations.
Silver bird, take me where there's something special in the air.
Something very exciting is going on here. It's a program called Foretell from GTE. It's a computer network that allows us to test your phone lines, look for problems, and fix them without ever disturbing you. You see, at GTE, it's not just communications we offer, it's solutions.
Hello, Texas. What's the state of cellular now? While the price keeps getting smaller, the benefits and coverage are bigger than ever. So many miles, so little money. Rural coverage across the Lone Star Cellular Network is spreading like wildfire. That means no communication gaps, just seamless county-to-county coverage. With cellular, it's getting harder and harder to ride out of range, and soon you'll see we've got you covered statewide. Texas and Southwestern Bell Mobile Systems. So many miles, so little money.
What do you think? We've got a good case, but it's complicated. We need a good trial lawyer who can understand this case and then present it to the jury.
They need a lawyer with a winning track record, trial experience, and scientific background. Jim Norvell is a registered professional engineer and has years of trial experience. He's the only plaintiff's attorney in Abilene who is board certified in both civil trial and personal injury trial law. Other attorneys asked Jim Norvell to help them prepare their cases for trial. Why don't you?
Supposedly, when Jimmy traded Steve Walsh to New Orleans, it was to end all quarterback controversy. Well, somebody forgot to talk to Babe Laufenberg.
Babe Laufenberg here with Troy Aikman. Troy, a lot was made of the Steve Walsh situation, and in my mind, of course, I was a part of it, and I saw the interaction among the quarterbacks, and especially you and Steve, and I never saw anything. I mean, I really believe that was something that the media blew, I don't even want to say out of proportion, because I don't think it really existed in the first place.
No, I really don't either. I think, as I've said many times before, the tough situation was that Steve and I both came out the same year, and just so happened that we both came to the same team. Steve and I competed. We were good friends, and
and it was a friendly competition.
Yeah, but I feel threatened with you, babe. There's no question about it. I mean, I realize the caliber of athletes you are, the talents that you have, and I don't think our friendship will ever be the same.
It is a shame, though, because at one point I remember we would go out for dinner, we'd talk, we'd maybe have a beer or something, and now I just don't see that, Aikman. And personally, I just think...
those days are over.
Yeah, and I'm happy for him. Believe me, I'm tired of paying for our dinner tabs. Troy, I was always brought up to treat other people the way you want to be treated yourself. And if this is the way you want to be treated, well, heaven help us all.
Well, you know, I think I treat the people that are good to me very well.
I think I am good to you.
But I don't think that you are. And that way, that's why you get treated like you do sometimes by me.
Well, I'm not good to you. I brought you on the show. How many people want to interview Troy Aikman in this town? No one. And yet you get on the Hey Babe segment?
You're a complete fool. And
yeah, for having you on my show.
I think it's time to...
Get off my show.
I think it's time that people out here realize what a jerk you are.
Yeah,
I've got to write all your material for the show. I mean, you're really a...
I wouldn't take credit for that.
The rap, so...
Well, okay, now that you... get off my show.
Hey,
get off my show, baby.
No, you asked me to be on this show.
Yeah, I asked you to be on. Now I'm asking you to be off because I think you're rude and insolent. Get off. Get the heck off my show. Get away from me. This is Babe Laufenberg for the Jimmy Johnson Show.
That's all you need is another controversy, right?
Well, we definitely have a controversy with Babe by himself.
Just have it in there. Jimmy, we're about out of time. I want to wish you luck against Tampa Bay. Do you think this is a team that you've improved enough that you got a good shot at?
Well, I think we've got a shot. I think we've had good practice, and I think it's going to be an exciting ball game. I'm looking forward to it.
You've got to do the defensive pressure, though. I would think that's the key.
Well, I think we've got to contain their offense. They have an explosive offensive football team, and we've got to contain Anderson. We've got to keep Testaverde from getting the big plays on our defense. And if we do that, we play hard, I think we're going to make some plays offensively, and I think that we've got a good shot at it.
That's it. We'll see you next week on the Jimmy Johnson Show.
The Coach's Pad Video Illustrator, courtesy of CC Sports Associates. Promotional consideration provided by Sterling Jewelry, featuring a fine line of Seiko watches. Cavender's Food City, the #1 Justin food dealer with 25 locations. And by Hastings Books, Music, and Video. The Jimmy Johnson Show has been brought to you in part by American Airlines, FINA, First City, Texas, and GTE.
You can hear the winds of freedom blowing in every land. And the need to be strong and free is the one we understand. When it's your time to be counted, don't give your chance away. Vote your choice, let them hear your voice. Stand up on election day. Everyone matters. Just one vote can save the day. Everyone matters.
Please register and vote.
KTAB, where the news comes first.
Up next on Special Edition, it's a bout you won't want to miss. This week's host, Kevin Von Erich, takes on the mystery wrestler. Cowboy receiver Jay Novacek takes it easy. Jerry Jones takes the hot seat. Opal Bush takes off her makeup. And stunt pilot Jan Colmer just plain takes off. It's all next on Special Edition.
I'm Jerry Jones, and this is Special Edition. As you know, we're coming off 2 very tough road games, but we feel we're making progress every week. It'll be good to be back in Texas Stadium again, but first we're going to spend some time at the Sportatorium. Our guest host has won titles and lots of fans there. We want him to feel at home. You wouldn't want to upset this man. He's champion pro wrestler Kevin Von Erich.
Kevin Von Erich is the oldest son in the first family of professional wrestling. For years, he has been thrilling crowds and winning championships. In his most memorable bout, he won the World Six-Man Tag Championship with brothers Perry and David. He has held the following titles: World-Class World Heavyweight Champion, American Heavyweight Champion, World Tag Team title, just to name a few. Kevin Von Erich is one of the most popular wrestlers in the world and has helped take the sport to new heights.
Hi, I'm Kevin Von Erich. Like Jerry said, we're at the Sportatorium in Dallas, and yes, I do feel at home here. This place brings back some great memories, but before we talk about the men that I've destroyed in this ring, let's bring on Special Edition's Ted Dawson. And no, I'm not going to wrestle him. He's got this week's big story.
For most of these guys, it's just a dream that probably won't come true, but a dream, nevertheless, of making it in the National Basketball Association. The Mavericks don't have many spots open. They're a veteran team, but hope springs eternal.
It's been a long wait, a lot of anxieties, and I'm glad it's finally starting. I think a lot of the guys have been waiting a long time for it to start, and just play hard and let the coaches decide.
We have a few positions open just like every other club, and you never know. There may be an injury or two, so a guy gets a chance. The main thing here is that you come to a rookie camp in great condition so you can show your abilities. We have people here that have played as free agents in Europe. They've had a couple of years to develop. We've had some guys that have played in the CBA that may be furthering their development. We're looking for the lame beer who didn't make it in the league for 2 or 3 years, the Rulin who didn't make it for a couple of years. But after a maturity type period of time and after an opportunity of playing at another level, they were able to step up and compete in this league.
It's definitely a level up. A great team Dallas has this year, and an acquisition of 3 veteran players, and hopefully I can learn from those guys if I make the team and just become a better ball player for the future.
Up next, we'll take a trip to Jay Novacek's ranch, and later the mystery wrestler. I'll be showing him a thing or two.
Special Edition is brought to you by American Airlines, FINA, and First City, Texas.
We tested in laboratories. We tested on the asphalt, in the parks, and on the road. We tested when it's 102 and there's no shade. And we found that when you lose fluids, minerals and energy, nothing puts them back better than Gatorade. It's been proven again and again. But just to keep us on our toes, we tested every Sunday in front of 30 million people.
All I wanted was some ice cream, but Mom takes me to this place, TCBY. I wonder what they sell here. Hey, this looks neat. Wow, it tastes like ice cream.
TCBY, the country's best yogurt.
Mom's been so nice to me. Maybe I'll clean up my room. Nah.
All the pleasure, nothing else. TCBY.
It's the greatest.
Eat up, baby, come on. Where are you going, Daddy?
Going back to work, darling. Going back to work.
The time for Texas is now, and the bank for Texas is First City.
At FINA, the drive to the 21st century has begun, and here's where it's led. To a formula for gasoline so advanced it reduces emissions as you drive and increases gasoline mileage with just a few tankfuls. We call these gasolines Genesis, because in so many ways, they're a whole new beginning. Genesis gasoline. From your friends at FINA, the formula for the future.
No matter what your job, pro wrestling, pro football, or producing shows like the crew here on Special Edition, everyone needs to escape from the daily grind. As Special Edition's Craig James shows us, Cowboys tight end Jay Novacek feels most comfortable in those wide open spaces.
This week's Spotlight is brought to you by FINA, your friends with the formula for the future.
When the Cowboys signed Jay Novacek, there were a lot of expectations. And so far, the tall, speedy receiver has more than met those hopes. Last weekend against the New York Giants, Jay caught 9 passes for 84 yards and 1 touchdown, which gives him the most receptions among tight ends in the National Football League. It also gives Novacek plenty of confidence. But he has a partner in this relationship, his wife, Yvette, who also has to deal with game days herself.
I do get nervous watching him play. I don't know if I should say this on the air, but it's kind of a selfish feeling because I really am happy that the Cowboys are using him, and I'm happy to see him being able to contribute to the team. And I want him to be able to catch the ball every time they throw it to him. And then if somebody drops it, it's like, oh, I'm so glad that they didn't throw that ball to Jay. You know, so it's a funny feeling.
Do you worry about him getting hurt?
I do. And I never realized how much I did until the game against New York when he hurt his shoulder, because for all the injuries he's had, I've never been there when it had happened before. And that was the first time that I'd really seen it happen. So that was kind of hard to sit through.
That's why time away from football is special to the Novaceks. And I do mean away from football.
We both grew up out in the country. That lived on a farm and a ranch all our life, and I've always been out hunting and fishing. I think that anytime you come out and there's nothing but hills and trees and grass, and you pull in the driveway and the dogs are waiting for you, horses are out back, then it just gets away from everything.
Yvette hopes that some of Jay's horsing around catches on.
I'm getting him into horses, and that's the thing we're enjoying about Texas the most, is we have wonderful neighbors out here, and we're having a real good chance to discover his potential as a Cowboy.
And joining me now is Craig James.
Hey, good to be here,
Welcome,
Kevin.
buddy.
Hey, nice being here. We were watching the Novacek piece, and that family, they're just good old boys that happen to be professional football players, and coming in an environment like this, what a neat building.
It is beautiful. This building is it should be a historic landmark. I mean, it's been around for, looks like maybe 100 years, and it really is beautiful in here, if you folks can see it. But this place actually is where Elvis Presley played when he first started. I mean, when he started singing here, he was just a skinny little kid. And from what I hear from the old timers,
Working the water buckets in the corners for the guys.
But Willie Nelson too. He used to only play this building. It's a real beautiful spot, really.
Dallas, really a big spot for wrestling, and your family in particular.
Yeah. As far as the Von Erichs are concerned, Dallas and the Von Erichs, we're pretty much, hand in hand, and thank goodness, too. I love the community here, and we all do. We love this area. And it's beautiful buildings.
How about this mystery wrestler you're supposed to face today? I hear there's some goof going to come out of the rafters and you're going to whip him, teach him something.
Check this out. They're telling me something about a mystery wrestler or something. I don't know. We'll have to keep an eye out. Well,
hey, Elvis could be alive. He could be coming back today.
Really. Elvis may be in the building. Coming up next, what first-time amateur would be silly enough to climb in the ring with me? Just wait and see. And later, we'll take you on a ride you'll never forget.
Anything I ever need, no matter where I'm going, I depend on Skinny's. It's the closest place to home.
This week at your neighborhood Skinny's, you'll find Skinny's brand milk, only $2.39 a gallon. Delicious hot dogs, 3 for $1. Or the Big Sweet Cool Refreshment for 69 cents. Also this week, with an 8-gallon minimum purchase of gasoline, the 12-pack of Coke in cans is just $2.99 at a Skinny's near you.
Stop at your Skinny store. Skinny's is always on the way.
You know the old adage, you get what you pay for, and the professionals at National Body Works give you your money's worth. Some body shops fix your car with plastic fillers that will crack, break, or chip from weathering. National Body Works uses lead fillers that are compatible with your car's metal and will survive normal weathering and wear and tear. All the work is done in their shop, from painting and unibody damage to laser system body alignment. Now, do you want to pay for body repairs over and over, or do you want it done right the first time? National Body Works, where you get what you pay for the first time.
Hi, we're Canyon. We're inviting all of our friends to join us for 3 days on Carnival Cruise Line's Mardi Gras for our backstage cruise.
Here's our good friend Charlie Chase to tell you more.
Join us aboard the Mardi Gras for 4 days of music, sun, and fun. We're looking forward to meeting you while we're enjoying great food, luxury service, beautiful Nassau, and 2 private concerts featuring Canyon and other Nashville stars. Call now to make your reservation on our special backstage cruise. Here's how.
Call 1-800-7-VOYAGE. 1-800-7-VOYAGE.
Welcome back to the Sportatorium. I guess I'm about to wrestle this mystery wrestler nut or whoever they're talking about. I don't know what we're about to do.
This guy's got to be a nut because you need to understand this sport before you get in the ring. I'm going to go make a phone call. I'd love to watch this thing. I'll try to get back in time to see what's going on.
He must be a nut. We're going to find out.
You got it.
Entering the real world here.
Hey, you got to take it easy.
Don't worry now. Here, you're not going to get hurt. You don't need the helmet. Take your helmet off, bud. Okay, now I'm not going to hurt you. This is the referee's position. You take it like this, and you just shoot this arm over. There. You okay, Sally? Wasn't hard there. Okay, now this is a body scissor, and if I go to a pin from here, go, Paul! Okay? Hey, yeah. Did I get my toe in your mouth there, Craig? I'm sorry about that.
Hey, I feel like I just drank 6 beers.
What's one of your training techniques? Well, in wrestling, you're fighting your own body weight. And so that's the workout that we do is fighting is resisting your body weight. And so let me show you something I got from the Soviet Union, okay? The Russian pole vaulters do this. Just arch your back so your chin touches. And touch your chin and do push-ups like this. It's real good for your upper body.
Wow, I guess so.
Want to try it?
Yeah, let's see if I can.
Oh, these wings will do it. Just kick your feet up here, I'll get them.
All right.
Oh. You'll pull me over there.
Okay, you got it?
Yep. There you go.
All right. I remember your dad had the Von Erich Iron Claw. Tell me about that.
Well, now you can come here in person and watch every Friday night, learn about the Iron Claw, or I can show you firsthand.
Let me buy my ticket.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, it's fingertip strength is actually what it is, and that push-up I showed you, we do that on our fingertips, and really increases the grip of your hand. Get my fingers all marked up from.
Yeah.
But like it's done on the temples right here, and this other finger, this is your strongest finger, right here, and they have this one too, right on the temples, and you just, what you do is you dig your thumb in like that a little bit. Doesn't take much, but we've got, my family has strong hands, my dad especially. I mean, he can take a Coke bottle and just pop the top off of this like that.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Got time for one more move. Show me something I can defend myself against my kid.
All right, now look, this is called a fireman's carry, okay? It's kind of a professional version of a fireman's carry. It's like the referee's position, but on the head like that. Like that. Good, huh? Well, still to come on Cowboys Special Edition, Cowboys owner Jerry Jones takes the hot seat, and Dallas Cowboys cheerleader Opal Bush is looking good. She'll show you why, so don't go away.
What's the state of cellular now? While the price keeps getting smaller, the benefits and coverage are bigger than ever. So many miles, so little money. Rural coverage across the Lone Star Cellular network is spreading like wildfire. That means no communication gaps, just seamless county-to-county coverage. With cellular, it's getting harder and harder to ride out of range, and soon you'll see we've got you covered statewide. Texas and Southwestern Bell Mobile Systems. So many miles, so little money.
Attention farmers, ranchers, builders, and do-it-yourselfers. If you think this is all there is to metal roofing, your Metal Mart has a surprise for you. This beautiful steel roofing is energy efficient and durable. If you're tired of 20-year composition roofs that don't last, then you're ready to move up to today's Galvalume and colored steel roofing. It looks great on new homes, commercial applications, and replacement roofing. It's all waiting for you at Metal Mart. 30 stores and growing makes us easy to find, so come see us today.
You know, many people have proudly worn a uniform to defend our flag and our precious freedoms. The right to vote is just one, but to vote, you must be registered.
For voter registration information, call the Taylor County Elections Office at 674-1218. You must be registered by October 7th to vote in the general election.
Call the Taylor County Elections Office. They can help. Please, register and vote.
Next week on Special Edition, Steve, Larry, and Rudy. You know them as the Gatlin brothers. They've ruled the country airways for well over a decade, and they'll be your host.
Boogie woogie and Beethoven, under the Texas moon. Play it again, boys.
And Dallas Cowboy cheerleader Patty Thorne will steal some of the spotlight with a song of her own. So tune in to next week's Special Edition. Well, Craig is resting, and so it looks like I'm on my own. Of course, I don't have a crowd of man-eating fans waiting to attack me right now, but Cowboys owner Jerry Jones is about to enter the Lion's Den. He's ready to answer all of your questions on the hot seat, so good luck, Jerry.
Well, we got a rough crowd here. We're at Dave and Buster's. This is where we do our KBIL show once a week, and it's good to be here on Special Edition.
I was wondering, when you got into this two seasons ago, is this what you expected down the line? Is this how you saw it would be going for your investment that you put into the team?
I'll be very candid with you. When I was negotiating to buy the club and the stadium, I didn't give any thought to our talent or whether or not the Cowboys had a #1 pick. Basically, was pretty wrapped up in just getting to be a part of the Cowboys of the future. What is neat is to be able to be doing something that you'd rather be doing than anything else in the world, a dream, and get to be a little part in some way of the Dallas Cowboys becoming a real sports story and one that everybody in America recognized the Dallas Cowboys, America's team.
Gary, I went to the Giants game last couple weeks back, and I brought my cooler, like every fan does, checked it, and when I came out of the corral, there was no one there to pass me back my cooler, and my cooler was stolen. Wanted to know how we're going to address that.
Well, how do you think we get the beer that goes in the corral out of those coolers?
I'd like to ask your feelings about Patrick Sullivan and his remarks.
Patrick Sullivan's the general manager of the Patriots. I've only read the same things you have, and obviously there could be discrepancies there. The issue of how to treat our media, whether it be male or female, gender, there is no difference, is with obviously the same way we'd like to be treated ourselves.
Do you see yourself 5 years from now? Do you see a general manager between you and Jimmy Johnson?
Yes, I do. I think that we've got something real unique in the NFL. So many times we've been a part on the other end of some decisions in the NFL that because of the communication chain of command between ownership that write the check and the coaching on the field, something gets lost in transition. Jimmy and I can communicate very easily every day, make decisions right on the spot. It's a misnomer, though, to think that any one person's making the decisions for the Dallas Cowboys. I call upon a lot of advice. Many of them are here tonight. Jimmy calls upon a lot of advice. He gets a tremendous amount of advice when he's involved in the selecting of a player, and will continue to do so in the future.
Jimmy does a great job on the sidelines. When are we going to do something about his hair?
Well, let me say this. I would walk across Texas to have that much hair, personally. I noticed him the other day in the windy game in Washington, and it got all over his head, and you won't see that very often, will you? He's good-natured about that, and that really doesn't bother him to be kidded about his hair. Now, I'm a little sensitive about it. Listen, that's all we have time for. Again, I've really fun to be here tonight, and Kevin, back to you.
Good to see you made it through, Jerry. And now on to something that also involves survival. This week's Dallas Cowboy Cheerleaders Health and Beauty segment, Opal Bush fights the aging process.
Hello, I'm Opal Bush, and this is my second year to cheer for the Dallas Cowboys. I know a lot of you at home are working real hard to keep your bodies in great shape. Did you know it is just as valuable to keep your skin in top condition? I'd like to share with you 3 beauty care tips to help keep you looking beautiful. After a tough workout, or in my case, after cheering after a football game, I'll immediately cleanse my face to remove dirt and film. I then use a freshener to open my pores and a moisturizing conditioner to keep my skin looking smooth. Always buy products designed for your individual skin type. I have very dry skin, so I buy products especially for dry skin. Never sleep in your makeup. I know you've heard this 100 times, but remember, sleeping in your makeup can add years to your face. Remember, take care of your skin like you take care of your body. We all want to look 18 forever. Hope to see you at the game.
When Special Edition comes right back, be ready to take off with air show pilot Jan Coleman.
When I was growing up, I had parents that were there for me, to give me that sense of confidence we all need. That's what these big brothers and big sisters are giving to these young people. I'm Troy Aikman, quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys, and I know that those same qualities are what each of these young people need to win against the tough challenges that they have to face every day in our modern society. Today I'm at an outing with the youngsters from the Big Brothers and Sisters programs here in Dallas. As a United Way volunteer, I try to teach them how to cope with the fast-moving society that they are growing up in. Now I want you to meet a very special United Way volunteer who's with me today. She's my mom.
Troy needed guidance and self-confidence just as all our children do. When you give to United Way, you're showing you care.
When you give to United Way, you bring out the best in them. And United Way, it brings out the best in all of us. Right, guys?
Yeah!
No, I never went to that place. Can you imagine me walking into something called the Boys and Girls Club? Not me. I had too many things to do. Too many plans.
It costs over $16,000 a year to keep a man in jail. It costs a fraction of that to keep a kid out. Support the club that beats the streets.
Blue skies, carefree, red boat, tranquility. Oh, there's something special in the air. Blue skies, white sand, no troubles, life is grand.
American Airlines with flyaway vacation packages to all these sunny destinations.
Silver bird, take me where there's something special in the air.
It means a lot because, like I said, ever since 9 years old, so this is about my 15th year playing football, and now it's something I'm getting paid for and still having fun. It means a whole lot.
Kenny is the type of player who will always be out there for the fun of it. He really has a good time. In the 100-degree heat of training camp, Kenny keeps on smiling. Our next story is about a guy who really gets a thrill out of what he does. But as Special Edition Susie Colbert tells us, when this man goes to work, we all get a thrill.
This was the day for my own personal thrill. My pilot, Jan Comer, is a 10-year veteran of the air show scene. but not me.
When I met Jan, the first thing he asked me was, had I ever done this before? Obviously, I said no, and he said, you're in for the experience of a lifetime. I agree, except for one thing. He gave me this airsick bag.
Not that I was worried, but what about the risk? Especially for Jan. After all, he does this all the time.
It shouldn't be dangerous. If you think it's dangerous, you shouldn't be doing it, of course. And there are ways to protect against the risk. And the basic way to protect is go to high altitude. So most of my practice, I do 1,500 feet, 2,000, 3,000 feet.
It takes years before some pilots become proficient enough for the Federal Aviation Administration to give them a low-altitude clearance. Jan has been cleared to fly all the way down to the ground.
That's when you can really do air shows, is when you get down where the crowd is. They really don't want to see an airplane way up in the sky that looks like a butterfly or something up there. They want to see an airplane. One of the rules is you don't do any maneuver in an air show that you haven't done hundreds of times before, and know that every time you do it, you're going to do it right.
Unfortunately, repetition can't prevent a tragedy like this. Tom Jones was physically ill and should never have flown. But 1990 was plagued with accidents for another reason.
One of the things that everybody's been concerned about is that a lot of the fatalities have been people who have had a very limited amount of air show experience.
Experience should be Jan's middle name. He got his wings with the U.S. Navy back in 1956. I guess that's why I'm feeling so relaxed, among other things.
The descriptions I've heard, and I've had hundreds of passengers over the last few years, and the biggest and best description is it's every ride at Six Flags rolled up into one. And they used to say that's the most incredible thing I've ever done. I don't believe I did it.
Well, I believe it. This is great. And now I understand how Jan still gets a thrill every time up.
If it weren't, I wouldn't do it. It's as simple as that.
Seeing Jan perform is simple, too. Addison Airport, Saturday and Sunday. And by the way, I didn't need the airsick bag.
I think I'll stick to pro wrestling. At least I don't have as far to fall. Well, that's going to have to do it for this week's special edition. I'd like to thank Cautious Craig, the mystery wrestler, for allowing me to abuse him. And now, back to Jerry.
Hey, thanks, Kevin. I'm just sorry I couldn't have been there for a few of those wrestling tips. I could use them when it comes time for contract negotiations. Next week, we're thrilled to have the Gatlin brothers as our guest hosts. Take care, everyone. We'll see you then.
Promotional consideration provided by True Value Hardware Stores and Home Centers featuring Master Mechanic Power Tools. Wild Bills. Get $25 off your first purchase of Acme NFL boots. Special edition has been brought to you by First City, Texas, FINA, and American Airlines.
Joe Montana.
Mind and the spirit. Good mental health is extremely important, just as there...
Atop the NFC Central Division. Hi, everybody. I'm Brad Nessler along with Dan Jiggetts, and welcome to Texas Stadium here in Irving. 3-1 for the Bucs right now, Dan, and the best start since 1979. I think people are finally starting to take the Buccaneers as a real team.
And Ray Perkins says we've got a feeling, but one of the reasons why they've got that feeling is because of Gary Anderson, number 40. Over 422 yards now to a combined offense. This guy is the guy that everybody has to focus in on when they play the Buccaneers. They try to limit his number of touches, that is, pass receptions as well as running the football.
And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will have the football first. Ken Willis, another rookie place kicker, will tee it up. Reggie Cobb, the deep man of a trio. The Bucs are 3-1, the Cowboys 1-3, and a short kickoff will go out of bounds. And this is a problem that Willis had a week ago. In fact, of his 3 regular kickoffs against the New York Giants in last week's loss, His kicks landed at the 10, the 8, and the 9. And this time he knocks one out of bounds, so the Bucs will go to work at the 35 under the leadership of Vinny Testaverde, the top-ranked quarterback in the NFL. Pat Haggerty, our referee. Vinny Testaverde with a 104.5 rating. Tops in the business. Brings his offense up. There's his numbers on the season. Tampa Bay, first down. Bruce Hill in motion. Anderson. And Gary Anderson, who has had a brilliant start this year, picks up 5 on his first carry. Behind a line that is improving. Gruber, an all-pro, with Dill, Bubba Grimes at the center. Ian Beckles, Rob Taylor, and Ron Hall as the tight end. Gary Anderson, who just picked up 5 on his first carry.
Their skill people are exceptional now in the Buccaneers.
Second down at 5, Tampa Bay. At its own 40. Reggie Cobb slips and falls. Got about 2 as he regained his balance. Lockhart and Norton got over there to make the stop. And that Dallas defense, Daniel Stubbs, Dean Hamill, Danny Noonan, and Jim Jeffcoat up front. Eugene Lockhart, 222 tackles a year ago on the inside. Jack Del Rio and Kenny Norton flank him. The secondary for the Cowboys, Ike Holt and Robert Williams. The corners, James Washington starts with Vince Albritton at safety. So the Bucs come up with their first third down situation of the day, 3rd and 3. Testaverde completes it. Carrier lost the ball. The Cowboys have covered it midfield. They're going to say no catch. Incomplete. As he had it momentarily, didn't have possession. We'll get another look at it.
And coming across on the slant route, one thing you want to do is cover up the football first of all, and that's what happened here. The ball just pops out before he hits the ground. But the question is, was that a fumble? I believe it was a fumble because as he went to the ground, the ball dropped out. His knee was not down. It's apparent from that replay.
Tampa Bay gets this punt off. They may have picked up a break there. Harris deep for Dallas, back at the 10. Mark Royals, first-year punter, takes it high. Harris with a fair catch, and he'll take it right at the 20-yard line. 38-yard punt, and a fair catch by Harris. Just underway here at Texas Stadium, and the Cowboys will huddle up as a group on the far side of the field, something they started a week ago against New York.
They collect that posse over there and get ready to come out and do business offensively. You know, when you think about this game, you're looking for the Buccaneers. Now they want to see if they are truly an established football team, if they have come to that next level. For Dallas, it's another opportunity to wake things up.
2-A, Kerr, Stepnoski, Giesick, Newton, and Novacek's the tight end for Dallas. The backfield behind Troy Aikman, Emmett Smith, and Alonzo Highsmith, Dennis McKinnon, and Calvin Martin, the wideouts. First down, Dallas. Aikman to Smith, then he's going to lose yardage. Tampa Bay all over that. Broderick Thomas out there, and it's going to be a loss of about 4. Defensively for the Buccaneers, up front, Reuben Davis, Kurt Jarvis, and Jim Scow, who came in the trade from Cincinnati. What a set of linebackers. Roderick Thomas, Eugene Marv, Urban Randall, Winston Moss.
Maybe the best set in the National Football League, Brad.
And the secondary, Reynolds, Haddix, who has 3 interceptions, and Hamilton and Robinson, who've been playing since their Penn State days together. So Dallas started exactly how they hoped they wouldn't. They lost 3. 2nd and 13. Quick throw out to Martin. Broke a tackle, and he's got it up near the 28-yard line where Mark Robinson made the stop.
It's funny when we talked to Jimmy Johnson the other day. He said, you know, this offense that we have with the Cowboys is a quarterback-oriented offense, and it's something that he's not going to try to run the football down your throat. They like to throw the controlled passing game such as that one, and they just threw Kelvin Martin, and that's how they think they're going to beat you.
He says, we're definitely not a dominating run team, and we probably never will be. Let's see if they keep it on the ground here. 3rd down along 2. Emmett Smith. First down, Dallas. He's out to the 34-yard line. Eugene Marv in on the stop, along with Harry Hamilton.
Nice blocking on the left side of the offensive line, but one of the things Emmett might want to look at when he looks at this tape is watch if he follows his guard. I believe that's Crawford Kerr, 68. If he follows him all the way outside instead of tucking it up right there, he may gain extra yardage, because you see 85 McKinnon is also out there throwing a block from the wide receiver position. That's where you get those extra 15 yards on a big run.
So the Cowboys have worked it to their own 35. Emmett Smith again behind Highsmith. And he's out over the 40 to about the 42-yard line.
I'll tell you one thing, when Alonzo Highsmith comes out of that backfield from the fullback position, people will go down. That's one thing. He said, you know, here's a guy, number 32, that says that he would rather be an offensive lineman than a fullback. Now, how many backs you've ever heard say that, but that's what he can do, clear out that path for you.
He's built more like a linebacker or a lineman, that's for sure.
Said he was a linebacker all of his life. And he had his brothers, he'd go back and play a little outside linebacker and a little offensive line.
Smith got 7, 2nd and 3. Here's Alonzo Highsmith. He didn't run it bad either, does he? First down, Dallas. Eugene Marbs and Mark Robinson combined on the stop. Final big wave Wike early for the field goal. Seattle looked pretty good on Monday night.
And I tell you one thing, too, this Dallas team looks pretty good. When people talk about them, they're 1-3, and they say, gee, well, are they back? You know, are they having a tough time? You talk to the people in the Buccaneers, they say, this team can fool you. They're just like we were a couple of years ago. You come in and you're not paying enough attention to what they're doing, they're going to beat you.
1st and 10. 2 first downs on the drive for Dallas. McKinnon to the near side. Martin to the top of your screen. Tampa Bay with a blitz on Aikman. In and out of the hands of Alonzo Highsmith. A short gain if they dropped him there, but he doesn't hold on. It'll be 2nd and 10.
And that's one of the things that Alonzo told us that about this Dallas offense and his opportunities here as opposed to Houston, where he was simply a blocker. He says now he's going to have the opportunity to come out of the backfield and show some of the skills that he displayed when he was at Miami.
Said he hadn't run a pass pattern since he was in college until he came to Dallas. Tommy Agee checks in for him at the fullback spot in the Dallas eye on 2nd and 10. Smith goes airborne to get to midfield. Reuben Davis got over there to undercut him.
You know, just early on, so far in this drive, Brad, Tampa Bay defensively looks like they're just kind of a little bit off sync. And as a result, they have not really stopped the Cowboys to this point. A dangerous kind of an attitude to take right from the top, because you want to come out and be aggressive defensively right away. And I'm sure Fred Bruni, their defensive coordinator, is probably now saying, hey, guys, let's turn it up a couple of notches.
They may turn it up on Aikman here on 3rd down and 6. At the midfield stripe, Aikman works from the spread with 4 wide receivers. And he keeps it on the ground as Smith. He won't get the first down. Got to the 46-yard line. Winston Moss stopped him there. And it's 4th down, and Dallas will have to give it up.
That's the reason why I said those linebackers on the Buccaneers are probably the best set around. They've got overall great speed.
Mike Saxon, who had a rough week last week, still almost 42 yards a kick. He'll kick it away to Willie Drury. Saxon had punts of average 28.3 last week against the Giants. He says, anybody else, I might have been on my way out of town with a bus ticket and an apple, but Jimmy Johnson said, just hang in there. We know you can do the job. Overhand kick. Drury's going to let it go. Dallas should be able to down it inside the 5, and the captain of their special teams, Bill Bates, drops it inside the 5 at about the 3.5. Nice job by Saxon. 43-yard kick, and the Bucs will be in a hole offensively when we come back. No score here in Irving.
This Oldsmobile got 16 highway miles a gallon and went 0 to 60 in 8 seconds. This one gets 30 miles a gallon and gets to 60 in 7 seconds. Isn't technology wonderful?
This is a new generation of Olds.
Dean Witter believed in priorities.
Know why your clients are saving. Know why they're investing.
Okay, come on, folks. At some point, it's college. Later on, retirement. But Dean Witter knows that often the highest priorities are all the things that happen in between.
Is there anything else you want?
Just the first dance.
There are many ways to measure success.
We measure success one investor at a time.
One feature of the Oldsmobile Edge is, if your vehicle is disabled, we'll reimburse you so you can rent a car, pay for a hotel, and feed your family up to $500. So pack an Olds on your next trip.
This is the new generation of Olds.
It is here. A level of quality that 5 years ago was just a goal. 84 models redesigned and engineered. 7 entirely new this year. Announcing the GM offer of quality. A time of special values now at Chevrolet, Pontiac, Oldsmobile, Buick, Cadillac, and GMC truck dealers, where you can see the newest ways that GM is putting quality on the road.
8:33 to go first quarter, no score here in Irving, Texas, and a perfectly placed punt by Mike Saxon has Ray Perkins' Tampa Bay offense in a hole down near the 4-yard line.
And this is one of those areas you call the red zone also offensively when you're coming out. Now, this field here in Dallas has some stripes down on the field, and we always talk about the red zone and the blue zone. When you're coming out, it can be the blue zone. And you see these stripes right down to the 20-yard line. We'll show them to you a little later on, too. They're multicolored, white, red, and blue.
America's hash marks. First and 10, Tampa. Nice job by Cobb to break one tackle, and he got out across the 7-yard line. Daniel Stubbs in on the stop.
You know, we talk so much about Ray Perkins and the success that he's having this year with the Buccaneers, but he's not a stranger to success. When you look at his record with the New York Giants, he really started building that team into the Super Bowl caliber team that they became. Alabama had a successful run there, and now Tampa Bay, this year, they're really turning things around.
You ask Ray Perkins, what concerns you? He says, I'm not concerned about anything.
Worry me, worry.
2nd and 7. Draw play. Anderson. Nice open field hit near the 10-yard line. And that was Robert Williams, the right corner.
When you talk to the Dallas defensive people, they told you one of the things they knew they had to do better this week than they did last week was tackle. They said if we can get in there and get the shoulder on Anderson and make sure that he doesn't get that extra run and make you miss, then we have a chance of staying in this game. If they can control Gary Anderson, they've got a chance to win it.
It's amazing. Every team that talks about playing Tampa Bay says Gary Anderson scares us to death. They all say the same thing. That time, Williams did a fine job and brings up 3rd down at 4 from the gun. Testaverde completes it, but it is well short of the first down. John Harvey made the catch, and for the second time, it's 3 and out for Tampa Bay. They'll have to give it up. And this time, Royals will be kicking from his own end zone.
This is why I was talking about you get in that dangerous lull. You don't do anything offensively, and your defense has to go out, and they're struggling a little bit. All of a sudden, Dallas puts points on the board. Very critical situation now for Tampa Bay.
The Cowboys appear to have the return on as Royals is about 2 yards deep in his end zone. Rod Harris back across the 50 in return formation for the Cowboys. This one could be returned. On the fly, Harris lost the handle. But Dallas is going to pick it up and have it at the 45-yard line. James Washington was right there, right place at the right time.
Well, you talk about serendipity. James Washington now has got to be thinking, hey, I'm the luckiest guy in a Dallas Cowboy uniform picking up this fumble. That's timing, folks.
6:20 to go first quarter, no score. First quarter. Brad Nessler and Dan Jiggets with you. It's a family affair here. Mike and David Shula on opposite sides. David, the offensive coordinator for Dallas. Mike, the quarterback coach for the Buccaneers.
Can you imagine what a dinner is like when they all get home?
A lot of X's and O's on the table.
Mom's probably the best coach, though.
Those salt shakers get moved a lot. First down, Dallas. Smith, big hole. He's going to have a Dallas first down at the 35-yard line. Mark Robinson brought him down, and Emmitt Smith rips off an 11-yard pickup.
You know, here's a guy, Emmitt Smith, number 22, who's just having a lot of fun. We asked him, we said, did you regret leaving Florida early and all? He said, absolutely not. I made the decision myself. I like the decision, and I also like being here. And he's starting to enjoy his teammates a little bit more now, too.
He's going to enjoy it a lot more if he has the kind of game that he has already started off with here. He led Dallas in rushing, coming in with only 104 yards. Had 63 against the Redskins a couple of weeks ago, which was his best outing, but today it looks like it may be more. First down. Quick over the middle, Novacek, the tight end to the 15.
One of the things that works so well against the Buccaneer defense, because they play a lot of zone, is when the tight end slips in between the seams. Now, watch here as the tight end, Jay Novacek, runs that seam route right down along the hash marks. Now, after that, you see there's a hole in there. He catches that between the defensive backs and the linebackers, and that's when this pass play is so effective.
Troy Aikman hasn't had to throw often because of the running game, and it's got Dallas down to the 15. They go back to the ground, and Smith got maybe a yard. Eugene Marv got out there defensively along with Harry Hamilton from the secondary.
Brad, when we talked earlier, we said about the mind frame that Tampa Bay has to be in here. When you become a winning football team, you have to understand when you get to games like this, you have to come out aggressively as well. You have to come out and play the Dallas Cowboys just like you played the Minnesota Vikings. That's when you know psychologically you've moved up to that next level.
No gain for Smith. Brings up 2nd and 10 at the Bucs 15. Novacek in motion. Picked up about 3 with the reception, his 2nd catch of the day. And Aikman is really starting to look to Novacek as he did a week ago.
Yeah, he told us in the locker room before the game, he said, you know, we really feel like we've upgraded that position with Jay Novacek and Robert Awol both coming over from the Cardinals. 2 good receiving tight ends, and Awol's a little bit more of a regular tight end at 250 and about 6'5" or so, but Jay Novacek has the ability to split out wide, and he's got a little bit more speed than Robert does.
19 catches now for Novacek. You're going to add 2 more to the stat we just showed you, and he is the top receiving tight end as far as number of catches in the whole league. 3rd and 7. Aikman works from the shotgun. To Novacek, touchdown Dallas. Wayne Haddix, an injured Tampa Bay Buccaneer, in the end zone. Dennis McKinnon laid a block on him over there, it appeared. And Novacek, 3 catches in that drive, including 1 for 6.
And the reason why, too, is because, as you mentioned, Brad, when Dennis McKinnon's in the game, one of the things he does as a wide receiver is he will throw a block downfield. Now, watch him turn around right here and help Jay Novacek get into the end zone, stops the pursuit right now. Novacek runs an excellent route.
Haddix still down. Again, he is tied for the top spot in the NFC in interceptions with 3, and he had the key pickoff last week that helped Tampa Bay beat Minnesota. And Novacek, a 12-yard touchdown catch.
Jay Novacek, he and his wife have a 900-acre farm in Nebraska. And they came down here to Dallas, and they had to rent a farm down here. It's only 30 acres, you know, a small spread.
A small one, yeah. Just enough room for the horses.
That's right. But I'm sure everybody now is hoping that Wayne Haddix can get up and get back at it. Once again, here's the play. Good protection for Aikman there. Has enough time to sit and deliver the football now. McKinnon on the block on a turn back on Haddix. It looked like Haddix had pulled up a little bit when he got the shot from McKinnon, but one thing Dennis McKinnon does, he's always done it throughout his career, is throw blocks down there for his people trying to score.
It appeared as though Haddix, after slipping there and letting Novacek get in front of him, got a little lackadaisical and turned around and did slow down, and then he got deposited by McKinnon. And so our concern for Wayne Haddix, who's still down in the end zone. Don't forget, coming up tonight, right after 60 minutes, it'll be Game 2 of the American League Championship Series. The Red Sox will host the Oakland A's. Probable starting pitchers tonight. Bob Welch going to go for for Oakland. Won 27 games. designated kicker will start for Boston. Exciting game last night until the 8th inning. Then it wasn't so close anymore.
Yeah, blown out.
There's what we got coming up tonight on CBS. Oakland out in front in the series 1-0 after their big inning last night. Game 2 tonight from Fenway at 8 o'clock Eastern right here on CBS.
I got to tell you, Brad, being in Chicago and watching the White Sox chase the Oakland A's all season long, you know, the White Sox had the 3rd best record in baseball, and they're sitting at home watching this whole thing, and you got to believe that they feel that the future is right now in that American League West. We're hoping that Wayne Haddix is okay. He's been down there on the ground for an awful long time. Of course, we'll try to get a report on him as soon as we possibly can.
Wayne Haddix down, Dallas up by a touchdown. 3 minutes and 28 seconds to go first quarter here in Irving, and the Cowboys trying to pick up their 2nd win of the season.
Why these two teams on the field? Well, those 5th place teams, you know, have to play when the other guys get some time off.
The rest of the NFC, with the exception of Dallas, off this weekend. Ken Willis, rookie kicker, in for the point after. And the Cowboys of Jimmy Johnson go on top 7-0, 3:28 to go in the first quarter. Dallas in front by a touchdown. 3:28 to go first quarter. Was Troy Aikman, 12 yards to Jay Novacek. And Ken Willis set to kick it away. Danny Peebles, who had a 55-yard return last week against Minnesota, the deep man for Tampa Bay. It'll come to the near side to Reggie Cobb. Nice high step by Cobb, and he's got room. Collared at the 48-yard line, but a 45-yard kickoff return for the rookie from Tennessee.
He returns it to near the midfield stripe with the Buccaneers.
Bill Bates, number 40, came down and he just spilled himself out. He was going full speed. Now he's over the other side of the screen. Now, the problem was for Dallas that nobody focused in on the running back. Everybody spread out coming down in the lanes, but at some point or another you had to break down and get to the ball carrier, and that didn't happen until he was at about the 45-yard line or so.
Boy, just what Tampa Bay needed, though, after giving up the touchdown. Great field position, the best they've had today, in fact. Here comes a blitz. Testaverde got it to Carrier. It looks like it's going to be a first down near the 41.
One of the other things that you've got to believe that Tampa Bay wants to do in this game, and it's something they've done all season long, and we talked about it, is getting the ball to Gary Anderson. And here are some of his numbers on the season so far. Rushing is at 67 attempts with 281 yards and 3 TDs, and he's a very available receiver as well.
And as Dan said before the game started, 2nd in the league in total yards, that 422, second only to Johnny Johnson of the Phoenix Cardinals. First down, Tampa Bay. Reggie Cobb cuts back to the 36, where Danny Noonan met him, along with Eugene Lockhart.
If I'm Reggie Cobb and Gary Anderson, I kind of like running over on that left side. You know, I've got Paul Gruber over there. And Paul, needless to say, has grown up a little bit since he's been with the Buccaneers. I looked at him yesterday, and it's obvious he spent the offseason in the weight room because he looks outstanding. He's really got some great upper body now.
A lot of people expect him to be a fixture in the Pro Bowl in years to come. 2nd and 6. Bucks at the Dallas 36. Another blitz. Anderson cuts back, first down and more. Inside the 25. Let's go to New York for an update on Houston and San Francisco and Greg Gumbel.
Well, Brad, after the Oilers picked off a Joe Montana pass, Warren Moon went right to work. 30 yards to Drew Hill for the touchdown, and with the extra point, Houston now leads the Niners 14-0 in the first. Back to Texas Stadium.
All right, so the run and shoot doing its number down the road a piece, as they say down here. Tampa Bay moves inside the Dallas 25, the 24-yard line, first down. Testaverde skips one off his intended receiver and almost intercepted, intended for Anderson. Tampa Bay locker room, we get word the left knee of Wayne Haddix indeed is what was injured on that play. We don't know the severity, and we'll try to keep you posted, but he is gone for the day for Ray Perkins' defense. 2nd and 10, Buccaneers. Hill to the near side. Carrier to the left. They'll keep it on the ground. Anderson got close to the 15.
Yeah, but there's a little bit of that Gary Anderson make a miss there. You saw, I think it was Vince Albritton that just kind of slipped up in there, tried to put the shoulder on him. Gary Anderson will make those people in that secondary think twice when they come in and try to put the real hard knock on him because he's very slippery. Good blocking up front as well by his offensive line.
Key 3rd down situation coming up for the Bucs to try to keep this drive alive. Remember, this drive started at the 48-yard line after the nice kickoff return by Reggie Cobb. Now it's 3rd down and 2. Cobb won't get there. Vince Albritton and Jack Del Rio combine on the stop, and Dallas stops Tampa Bay short. And it brings up 4th down in the waning moments of the first quarter. Dallas in front 7-0 here in Irving. And they're going to force a field goal attempt by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But that field goal will have to wait. We've played the first quarter, and the Dallas Cowboys at home leading the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 7-0 here in Texas. In Irving, Texas, with Dan Jiggets, I'm Brad Nessler. 7-0 Cowboys over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers of Ray Perkins, who are hoping to change that here momentarily with a field goal attempt. Dallas has already matched their first quarter statistics as far as scoring. In the previous 4 games, they had scored only 7 points, and they already have 7. 33-yard attempt by Steve Christie.
It is good.
And he's good for the 8th time in 9 tries this year. The Buccaneers are on the scoreboard. 1 play into the second quarter. It's 7-3 Dallas.
When I was growing up, I had parents that were there for me, to give me that sense of confidence we all need. That's what these big brothers and big sisters are giving to these young people. I'm Troy Aikman, quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys, and I know that those same qualities are what each of these young people need to win against the tough challenges that they have to face every day in our modern society. Today I'm at an outing with the youngsters from the Big Brothers and Sisters programs here in Dallas. As a United Way volunteer, I try to teach them how to cope with the fast-moving society that they are growing up in. Now I want you to meet a very special United Way volunteer who's with me today. She's my mom.
Troy needed guidance and self-confidence just as all our children do. When you give to United Way, you're showing you care.
When you give to United Way, you bring out the best in them. And United Way, it brings out the best in all of us. Right, guys?
Yeah!
This message furnished by the National Football League.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by the new generation of Oldsmobiles. Step into the future now at your Oldsmobile dealer. Levi's 505 and 506 jeans, and by United Airlines, serving over 200 cities in the U.S. and around the world. Come fly the friendly skies.
Steve Christie, following the 33-yard field goal, tees it up and set to kick away to James Dixon and Alexander Wright for Dallas. Christie's kickoffs, the reason he won the job in the preseason over Donald Igwebuike, the depth of his kickoffs and the fact that not too many people have been returning kicks this year. Dixon had a notion and decided against it. So the Cowboys will work from the 20.
You know, when you go back to the third down play, now the reason why the play wasn't successful is watch right here. As the running back comes out, he's going to try to search this linebacker right here, making the pursuit, and that's Ken Norton Jr. Now, he's going to come over in the pursuit. Now, the problem is if your running back can't find that linebacker, then he's right in on the play. And it's Jamie Lawson, number 38 for the Buccaneers. You saw him just kind of take off upfield. You got to sit back, turn back around, and find that inside linebacker.
Kelly Norton did a fine job. Forced the field goal, and now that Dallas offensive group huddles as a unit and brings it right up to the line of scrimmage. First and 10, Cowboys. Johnston, the lone setback. He gets the call. Not much room, maybe a yard. Those linebackers are not going to give you too much opportunity. Murphy and Randall combine on the hit.
If Irving Randall continues to have the same kind of season all season long that he's been having so far, expect to see him in Honolulu, and those orange colors will look very nice out there on the beach in Waikiki.
No huddle for the Cowboys. Aikman took a shot. Now he's going to run with it. Flags are down as Aikman took a shot with his slide at the 36-yard line. A pickup of 14, but again a penalty marker down in the secondary.
You got to take it off. Dallas is indicating that is against Tampa Bay.
Holding defense.
That's unusual. Well, the reason why they make the call is because if Dallas is trying to pass the football and you hold up the receiver, then Troy Aikman is forced to run the football. Right there, we thought it had a little face mask on Troy Aikman, but the holding apparently took place off screen. Troy took a nice shot down there later on.
It's a good thing Aikman's 6'4", 218, that's for sure. Ray Perkins wants to know who the foul is on. And the Cowboys with a first down just outside their own 40-yard line. McKinnon and Harris, the wide receivers for Troy Aikman. Calvin Martin in a slot, so he's got a 3 wide receiver set. Intended for Harris, incomplete. Aikman is a big, strapping quarterback. We talked to him in the locker room before the game, and he's all of that 6'4", 218, isn't he, Dan?
He sure is. But the interesting thing is, you go in and talk to, here's a top-rated quarterback, guy that's making a lot of money and everything. What is he doing before the game? He's in there reading the game program.
See if they spelled his name right.
Yeah, they give him a free game program, and he's reading that.
He's a young, good-looking guy, and backup quarterback Babe Laufenberg says, hey, the guy owns the city. He's so popular. He says the part of the city he doesn't own, he could buy. Second and 10. Johnston over the middle. Still going to bring up third down and almost 6.
One of the things the Cowboys were concerned about coming into this game, Brad, was protecting the quarterback, and they've made some adjustments along the offensive line, and one of the things that happened as a result of that is good pass protection. Now, you seem to stop it up in there. Outside rush, little games, all of that. Get those big bodies in there real close, make it real nice and cozy in there, and then
line. So it's going to be third down and a long 4. 7-3. Dallas in front here in the second quarter. They'll keep it on the ground to Emmitt Smith. He had to get it shaded into territory, and I don't think he got there. Looks like they're going to spot it on the Dallas side of the 50. That'll be short for the first down.
the crowd's a little disappointed that the Cowboys are not going to go for it in this situation, but and again, if you don't make it, they'll leap on you if you're Jimmy Johnson.
Well, they've got a punter who over the last 5 years, nobody has put more inside the 20-yard line on the opposition than this young man, Mike Saxon. So they're going to try to tell him to drop one inside the 5. He did that once already today.
Know when to hold them and know when to fold them.
Drury, the deep man for Tampa. Well, he did his job, but they couldn't quite get down there to cover it. 50-yard kick for Saxon. Tampa Bay will have it at their 20 when we come back.
Good times roll with the clean, fresh taste of Bud Light. It won't fill you up, never let you down.
Buy 10 rolls of big insulation, R13 or higher, to keep you warm indoors, and get a free NFL coach's sweater to keep you warm outdoors. Offer ends October 14th.
You've heard it said before. It's not just what you say. It's how you say it. LaserJet printers from Hewlett-Packard. They'll get you noticed.
Chrysler Fifth Avenue, Imperial, and New Yorker Salon are all engineered with ABS brakes. You're safer when you drive. With our hands-free visor phone, you're safer making a call. Our remote entry system means you're safer at night. And our driver's airbag means you're safer in an accident. Chrysler Safety, because the most important thing that goes into our cars is you.
Now get cashback savings or low APR financing on new 91 models.
Back in Irving, Texas, Dallas with the lead, 7-3, 12:28 to go in the half, and it's Old Home Week here in Dallas.
It's Michael Irving along with Alonzo Highsmith and Benny Testaverde. Those guys hooked up a little bit when they were at Miami. 21-3 over 2 years, and Benny was there.
Not too bad. Michael Irvin just reactivated off injured reserve there, number 88, this week, and he should see some action sometime today.
Jimmy Johnson saying he's just about back, just about full speed.
Testaverde 2 4 for 14 yards here early. Anderson, and he goes to the 27 in a hurry.
Look back at the play that the Buccaneers had, that third down situation where they had to go for the field goal because they were not successful. Now, Testaverde brings this offense back, and he says, now are we mature enough now to make the long drive, take our ball club down there, score a touchdown, and put ourselves ahead in this football game. If they reach that level of maturity they want to get to, then they do that now.
This guy certainly helps. Anderson's got 37 yards on 5 attempts. Here he comes again. Great cutback. Flags down as he picks up the first down at the 35. And again, a penalty marker down at the 30.
I've seen officials ruin more good runs than any defense around. Boy, what a nice cutback block, dude. That's a shame.
Here in the second quarter, 7-3, Dallas in front. Troy Aikman's put up impressive numbers, and we mentioned Gary Anderson and how he's done on the ground with 37 yards already. He had 108 last week in the win over Minnesota.
And the Buccaneers are moving backward because of a holding penalty on that last play, as we indicated, Brad.
Ian Beckles was caught for the holding penalty, and that backs up the Cowboys inside their own 18-yard line. Testaverde changes it up at the line.
He's expecting blitz.
Nice job by Danny Noonan. Danny Noonan, fourth year out of Nebraska.
You mentioned that you heard Benny Testaverde Testaverde checking off. That's because that Dallas defense came up, all the linebackers up on the line of scrimmage. It looked like a 8-man front. He checks off, then they pull out. And right away now he says, okay, now my quick.
On the run. And he's got the first down. Vinny Testaverde, a big, strong quarterback who had his best rushing day of the year against the Vikings last week, and he picks up 12 here, Dan.
He got some help from his backfield, too. On the play, John Harvey throws a nice block for him when he realizes that Vinny's going to scramble out of there. Now, Vinny never won for being very graceful after he gets downfield. He kind of stumbles for the first down, but you see Harvey getting it done downfield.
You know, on this Tampa Bay team, and this will change shortly, maybe even today, he is the career rushing leader for the Tampa Bay Bucks because all the running backs weren't here a year ago. Career active rushing leader, I should say. Gary Anderson. He'll be changing that shortly. That's what we're talking about. He picks up about 5.
Gary Anderson can change that in about 3 runs. It'll be interesting to watch the matchup between Anderson trying to run up inside. You know, they like to run inside and have him break it outside. But it'll be interesting to watch the matchup today between him and Eugene Lockhart for the Dallas defense. Eugene, as we mentioned earlier, 222 tackles last season, and so far he's leading the Cowboys this season as well.
He says, all I want my outside linebackers to do is funnel him toward me. Anderson. And Lockhart helps on the stop. Dean Hamill also there.
Well, there you have it. The definitive Eugene Lockhart.
Eugene, the hitting machine.
He had yesterday, when we saw him in the locker room yesterday, leaving the Dallas locker room, he had a couple of knee braces, you know, some stuff for his, some ointment for his shoulder. He's a little banged up, but he's going to play. He said, there's no question I'm going to be there and be on time. Now, here he is coming on a blitz. You see him just react very nicely, step over. You wouldn't know this guy has shoulder problems, knee problems, and toe problems.
Testaverde with 4 wide receivers on 3rd and 5. Incomplete. Frank Pillow, the intended receiver, and he took a big shot from Robert Williams on the corner.
Yeah, but the problem is for Dallas, balls are popping up in the air. The people are popping balls off, and Dallas is not intercepting any. They got 1 interception this season. They need turnovers if they want to be successful. And that's simply the secondary's job.
Royals in for his 3rd punt of the day. And that's Rod Harris. Back deep for Dallas. 8:32 to go in the half. 7-3 Cowboys. And the left side of the Bucks front appeared to move.
That's one of those hut tweaks, you know, where you're supposed to pull the other guys off, but the defense sometimes can jump because you're afraid you're going to get beat on special teams.
I think it was Sidney Coleman, number 53, right there in the middle that jumped.
Yeah, I saw Sidney throw that head down. He was the guy. Sidney's like, oh, man, I wonder if Ray's looking now.
He still doesn't want to look, does
he? Looks over there. Yeah, this Steely Blue. He's standing right there looking in the huddle. Oh,
There
boy.
was no contact, therefore no foul.
All right, no contact, no foul. Kind of like the basketball we played the other day. No harm, no foul, and Royals will kick it. have a chance from the 13. To about the 24-yard line. Go Harris. 8 minutes and 22 seconds to go in the half. Dallas holds on to the 7-3 lead. Back in Irving, Dallas 7-3, 8:22 to go. Don't forget, next Sunday, we'll get things underway at 12:30 Eastern with the NFL Today. It's a doubleheader weekend next week. Emmitt Smith on first down. Out near the 32-yard line. Next week, our doubleheader action on CBS. San Francisco and Atlanta, big one in the NFC West.
And Green Bay and Tampa Bay maybe for the lead in the NFC Central.
And the Giants and Washington do battle in the East. That'll be a great one. Dallas and Phoenix.
Dallas thinking, yeah, if they can get through this game, if they can win this ball game and then go on to Phoenix, they'll be in pretty good shape.
They see Tampa Bay again in 2 weeks due to the strange scheduling quirk. Smith behind his blocking on second down. Looks like he's going to have a first down at the 35.
Brett, I'm sure a lot of the people back in Florida remember him from his days at Florida. It wasn't that long ago. But one of the things that's interesting about this young man is I asked him, I said, are you taking care of your offensive line? Because they're starting to take care of you pretty good. You see the blocking up front, Nate Newton there throwing. And he said, no, you know, I haven't been able to take him out to dinner yet. I said, why not? He says, my credit cards haven't gotten here yet. I said, oh, you hate to hear that.
Pretty weak excuse for a millionaire rookie, isn't it? He's got 46 yards on 9 carries. They've taken pretty good care of him today. And there's Anderson and Smith's numbers. They've both been impressive. First and 10, Dallas. And they'll blow it dead. Somebody in early. Legal procedure. Dallas makes it first and 15 when they walk it off. 6:57 to go in the half. The Cowboys leading the Bucs 7-3.
As we were talking to Jimmy Johnson, we're talking about that offensive line, and he said that he felt that they were, you know, they're pretty good run blockers right now, but they don't run the ball that much. And it's apparent now that maybe he's thinking, hey, look, we can drain a little bit of the clock. Maybe this line is coming into its own in terms of being able to go on those long drives now.
A.G. and Smith, the dual backfield for Dallas. Draw play to Smith. Not too much. Jim Scow made the initial hit, defensive end for the Buccaneers. Emmitt Smith, who would have been a senior at Florida, and says,
yeah, he said
three of them.
He said he never got to realize his potential there because every season he was learning a new offense, and now it's going to be the first time that he can really settle down and just run one offense.
And Steve Spurrier's offense a little more pass. Second and 12, Cowboys. Aikman. Great catch by Alexander Wright.
Great catch by Wright, but the thing that I'm also very pleased with in that situation is watch the way that Troy Aikman stands in. He recognizes that he's getting pressure right up in his face. Now, watch him sit in the pocket, take the pressure, and just deal the football off. That's growing up in maturity for a young quarterback. There's another look at it now. You can imagine how difficult it is when people are collapsing on you to sit back there and toss that football like that and throw it accurately.
And Alexander Wright, the rookie from Auburn, laid out for the catch. Brings up third down and 2. Here comes a blitz. Calvin Martin. First down, Dallas. Aikman read that one beautifully.
Hey, Kmart put on more shakes there than Kmart has sales. He had about 35 shakes there, and I think he gained 2 yards. Here's another guy that the Cowboys are looking forward to getting back completely healthy. He was injured last season and was one of their key receivers. Went down along with Michael Irving. Jimmy Johnson told us, he said, I like the direction we're headed, and he thinks that, you know, they're doing the right kinds of things. He said, yeah, every now and then it gets a little frustrating when you don't win, and that re-supports what you say to your players, but they're coming along.
Toss sweep to Smith. Cuts back inside the 45 to the 44. Jim Scow got a piece of him to trip him up, along with Eugene Marv. Last year, of course, the Cowboys frankly, it was a case of the Redskins not playing well that day, and we played pretty good.
We're touring now, though, as a football team, and that is apparent in this ball game. San Francisco getting back in it with Houston.
Second down and 6 for the Cowboys at the 44 of Tampa Bay. Tommy Agee. He battles his way to the 40. Tough run by the third-year pro out of Auburn. Winston Moss and Irvin Randall finally dragged the big fella down.
They got him in Plan B from Kansas City, and they're very pleased with the acquisition. As a guy who they really felt that could add a lot to their backfield. Now, Emmitt Smith adds a lot, too, because he's blocking on this play. And the little guy gets up in there and just gets kind of nasty with those big linebackers. Now, look at him. He's helping his guy. Hey, Emmitt, that's against the rules. You can't push your own man.
AG, you know, he had to wonder, hey, what do I have to do? He got drafted by Seattle, played behind John L. Williams. They traded him to Kansas City. Now he comes and he's behind Alonzo Highsmith, but he had a nice carry there. 3rd down and 2. Smith looks to be
coming into this game. I think he was successful on 6 of 7 attempts on 3rd down situations, so he's not a stranger to that, taking advantage of the opportunity. Okay, now Agee gets to pay back Emmitt Smith on the play. You see him throw the key block right up inside there. I think that's Irvin Randall that he gets on. He takes out the knee. Nice block, nice and low.
Close enough that they'll have a look. Looks like they might have it by the length of the football. Maybe 2 lengths. First down, Cowboys. 2:39 to go in the half. 7-3 Dallas, and the Cowboys driving.
You know, you see Ray Perkins there shielding his eyes. The reason why is here in this Dallas stadium, they put the visitors in the sun. And so you're going to get that afternoon sun in your face the whole day. And the Dallas sideline is nice and cool.
Nice and shady over there for Jimmy Johnson. There's a great look at it.
Well, it's brutal, too, I tell you. The stadium with a hole in the middle.
They left that hole up there so God could look on every Sunday at the Cowboys. 9th play of the drive. Aikman in trouble. And the Bucks with their first sack of the day. Broderick Thomas and a Winston Moss.
Number 51, Thomas.
Former #1 draft choice picks up the sack.
Pressure comes from the left side of your screen. That's 51 Moss right there. Fakes the back out and then just simply runs right up on top of Troy Aikman. Somebody's got to block that guy. If you don't see him being picked up by a running back, you're Troy Aikman, you go, hey, I'm in a whole lot of trouble.
We worked our way down to the 2-minute warning. Troy Aikman and the Cowboys will have a 2nd and 18 when we come back. Dallas holding to the lead.
Started as a pitcher's duel, but it turned into an Oakland A's romp. Now the Sox need a win at Fenway as the American League pennant race continues tonight.
Back at Texas Stadium in Irving. It is a hot one today, and that could take its toll before it's all over.
Yeah, if you see those linemen are down there in that cool air. Always look for the cool air. You'll find all the offensive linemen.
Bubba Grimes, who played his high school ball in Tyler, Texas. Got a lot of relatives at today's game. His Buccaneers on the short end, 7-3 here with 2 minutes to go in the half. Troy Aikman in trouble again. Broderick Thomas again.
And he just simply beat Kevin Gogan. Gogan, number 66, tried to step out and block him outside. Now, watch Gogan. He's up high now, 66, stepping out, trying to block him, and just gets out of position right here. Good, strong outside move there and in for the sack. One of the things the Cowboys did last week that they're not doing so far was protecting the quarterback throughout the whole football game, and they've given up a couple right now in this drive.
Gogan goes out, and 2-8 comes back into that tackle spot on the left side to line up against Roderick Thomas, the Sandman they used to call him, because he put a few people to sleep over the years. Third down and a mile for the Cowboys. Intercepted. Eric Everett has it back to the 46-yard line. 23-yard return for Everett, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will have 1:14 to work, trailing 7-3. 7-3 Dallas, but Tampa Bay will have a chance now with 1:14 to go in the half, thanks to the turnover. And they are +5 on turnovers this season. They've turned a lot of them into points. They would like to get at least 3 more off that Eric Everett interception.
As clear a description of the bottom line as you can get to. 5+ on turnovers, plus at 16 points.
And Dallas -4 on their turnover chart, and that's part of the reason they're 1-3 and the Bucs are 3-1. Vinny Testaverde will work from the shotgun with 3 wide receivers, but he'll keep it on the ground. Anderson with a convoy in front, and Isaac Holt broke through to knock him out of bounds.
I was watching Ian Beckles, number 62 for the Buccaneers, on that screen, that lead outside. Now, both of the guards are outside, and Scott Dill, 76, is along with them, and just trying to see if they're staying up and running through their blocks. And Dill gets a nice little pancake there, but Beckles wants to get in there a little bit tighter and then push that guy all the way to the sideline.
Isaac Holt, a pretty strong corner, 6'2" and about 200 pounds, and he didn't get enough of him. Did stop the clock, though. 2nd down and 7 at midfield. Wide open is Anderson to the 39. Penalty marker down in the backfield. And we're going to have a holding. They'll bring it back. Tampa Bay's had a couple of occasions when things went well, suddenly they weren't, and they would have had the football at the 38 of Dallas. Instead, it's way back at their own 40. Greg and Terry coming up at halftime. Scores and highlights of other games here in Week 5 of the NFL season. 3rd penalty against Tampa Bay on the day.
And that was a big, big play.
Sure was. Cowboys with their prevent in there against what is essentially a 4 wide receiver offense for Testaverde. He's in trouble and he lost the ball. Jimmy Jones and Danny Stubbs and Vinny Testaverde just got caught in a Miami Vice. A couple of old teammates.
Yeah, but good composure on the part of Testaverde, because the ball pops out here. You see, he's looking for the ball all the way, and we talked to Jimmy Johnson. He told us one of the things about Testaverde is that when you wrap him up, you got to really give him a shot, because he remembers a game when they were in Louisville, and they were playing against Louisville, a corner blitz. Guy hits him, and he says to this day, Vinny didn't know that the guy hit him.
Danny Stubbs told us it's going to be nice to see Vinny, but I never got to hit him in college.
And he had that look in his eye, too, you know.
So Tampa Bay had great field position a few moments ago before we saw the flag, and now with the sack, they're way back at their own 28-yard line.
And that's why I was saying it was a big play for them and a big loss, because suddenly, psychologically, as an offense, now you're all the way backed up, and you say, gee, we have to make up all that yardage, and you still, at that time, they had 1 minute, 2 seconds left on the clock. So it changes your thinking completely.
They've added time back on the clock, which now is 53 showing. And the Cowboys in front 7-3. Less than a minute to play in the half. Dallas with the lead. Dallas Dallas with the lead, 7-3, as we approach halftime. 53 seconds left for the Bucs to try to do something with it, but they've got 3rd down and 29 to go.
You think they're going to pass, Brad?
Now watch him with a quick draw to Anderson. Here it comes. The 35. And the Cowboys want a timeout.
Yeah, because they get the ball back, you know, after the punting situation with 46 seconds left on the clock and maybe in decent field position.
So Tampa Bay will have to give it up to Dallas. Jimmy Johnson's Cowboys 1-3 this year, 1-15 a year ago, and he says the difference this time around is that it hurts worse when we lose because we expect to be in every game. Ray Perkins, meanwhile, says, you know, he says, we're not hoping to win or even thinking we can win anymore. We're starting to expect to win. Today they're on the short end here through the first half. Royals just got it away somehow. Harris will take it back near the 22-yard line. I don't know how Royals found a window to kick that thing through, a 44-yard punt.
He had to pull a little magic off to get this ball through. Now watch the pressure coming from outside on both sides. And right there, he just squeezed the ball off. But the problem was for Dallas was they didn't focus in on the foot of the punter. They kind of went to where he was instead of where he ended up.
Would that have been a big play for the Cowboys? But Royals did the job, and somehow that punt had eyes. Here comes your posse huddle.
They're on the field.
Dallas from its own 22 from the shotgun. Aikman had time and almost threw another interception. Rodney Rice had his hands on it.
I'll tell you, the last couple of passes that Troy Aikman has thrown, he's done a good job of throwing into that total team coverage defensively. He's sunk both of them in there in really critical areas. And one thing he's got to learn is if you don't have that opportunity to squeeze the ball in there, then put it up in the 5th row. Don't take that chance, especially when you're down back up on your 22.
Emmitt Smith checks back in for the Cowboys with now 33 seconds remaining in the half. Martin, Irvin, Novacek, and McKinnon, the wide receivers. And the inside handoff to Smith. Out to the 30. Anderson and Smith have had very, very similar days to this point. The Cowboys are going to let it run. Jimmy Johnson, I don't think exactly wanted that to be the case.
No, I think he wanted a couple more plays out of that one.
But his Cowboys will head to the locker room at halftime with the lead. The Cowboys at halftime, leading by a score of 7-3 over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Chrysler, Plymouth, Dodge, Jeep, and Eagle dealers, where you get the advantage. MCI, let us show you. And by Bud Light. Everything else is just a light.
Those of you who have been watching the Tampa Bay Bucs and the Dallas Cowboys, welcome back to our studios in New York, everyone. Along with Terry Bradshaw, I'm Greg Gumbel. Let's take you through the scores as they are right now, and we'll begin at the Astrodome in Houston. You'll recall Mr. Bradshaw predicted a Houston Oilers victory today over the 49ers. Well, the Oilers are leading it 14-7 as they approach halftime. Joe Montana picked off by Richard Johnson, number 23 here. Intended receiver Jerry Rice stumbled just before the ball arrived, and love you blue. You bet they do, especially after this one. Warren Moon goes up top on the very next play, 30 yards to Drew Hill.
Right, Ronnie Lott was reading the eyes that time of the quarterback Moon and got him out of position, got down in the middle and got the touchdown.
Meanwhile, the defense applying the pressure to Joe Montana. Ray Childress with the sack there, and then Montana hitting Roger Craig for a 7-yard completion here with that catch. Roger Craig sets the record for all-time receptions by a running back, 493. He surpasses Walter Payton, and then Montana to Jerry Rice.
This is the best defense in the AFC, and notice the time. It's very unusual that you have that much time, that close to a goal line, to allow Rice to come all the way from the right side all the way to the left, and for Montana to go to his third receiver, Rice, and get the touchdown.
14-7 Oilers as they approach halftime. Meanwhile, at Atlanta, the Saints and the Falcons are tied at 14. This game is in the second quarter as well. John Fourcade, what a first half Fourcade is having. 5 for 5, 107 yards, 1 touchdown running, and 1 throwing. This is the one throwing to number 88, Floyd Turner, who eludes the defense and takes it in for the touchdown. But then Chris Miller comes right back, and his target is Sean Collins.
And the key here is that the Saints are in man-to-man coverage, and the cornerback covering Collins, like good corners, has his back turned to him because he's trailing him man-to-man. Collins sees the ball. He has the advantage, reaches over, and makes a great catch.
And as they're approaching halftime, the Saints are driving now and trying to grab the lead before halftime. The New York Jets lead Miami 13-0 at halftime. The Jets with a goal line stand, keeping the Dolphins out of the end zone as the clock wound down. Kansas City is at Indianapolis, and the Chiefs are leading the Colts 13-3 in the second quarter. The game you are watching here, it's Dallas 7 and Tampa Bay 3. Detroit and Minnesota at the Metrodome in Minneapolis, and the Vikings lead the Lions by a score of 19-10. San Diego and Pittsburgh, pigs do fly. The Steelers have scored not once, but twice on offense, and the Steelers lead the Chargers 17-7. And Seattle and New England approaching halftime as well. And the Seahawks are leading the Patriots 19-10. The NFL Today will continue after this word from your local station.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? Hewlett-Packard LaserJet printers, they'll get you noticed. And by Coors Light, the one that won't slow you down. The Silver Bullet is the right beer now.
Halftime at Texas Stadium in Irving, and the Dallas Cowboys in front of the home crowd leading the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 7-3. Welcome back to Texas, everybody. Brad Nessler and Dan Jiggets. I mentioned this one's been played close to the vest, and I assume somebody's got to open it up here pretty soon.
Yeah, well, so far it's been a big ground game for both teams. You know, Emmitt Smith has been very successful for the Cowboys, and Gary Anderson, like we expected, has been successful running the football, but right now they want to start putting the football up in the air a little bit more, I think, if you're at Tampa Bay. But you can see Emmitt Smith has 63 yards and Anderson 52. Both of them very healthy averages, 5.8 for Anderson and 4.8 for Emmitt Smith.
You want your two backs to have those kind of numbers, but you really don't want your passing game to have equivalent numbers. I mean, they're just not getting it done in the air today.
That's right. When Tampa Bay has thrown, I think, 5 or 6 passes, and they've had about 15 runs, and Dallas is pretty even right now. They've thrown the ball 14 times and ran it 17, so they're a little bit more balanced out than Tampa Bay is.
Last week, Vinny Testaverde, who's the top-ranked quarterback in the NFL, threw only 19 passes, that in an overtime win over the Minnesota Vikings. Today has 5 passes at halftime is all.
And when you look at those numbers and you start analyzing and say it's hard to believe he was the NFC Player of the Month in September, I'm sure Vinny would like to put that football up in the air a little bit more today. He said it didn't bother him that he wasn't passing as much as he has in the past, but I'm sure now he wants to start throwing the ball.
You got to think Bruce Hill and Mark Carrier and those guys are going to have their hands on the football a little bit more in the second half if Tampa's to come from behind and win. They trail 7-3 at intermission. Aikman has a touchdown pass. He's also thrown an interception that really didn't hurt the Cowboys as badly as we thought it might, because Eric Everett picked it off and gave Tampa Bay great field position before halftime, but they weren't able to capitalize and turn it into points. Steve Christie has it teed up.
I'm sure, Brad, that Ray Perkins went in and had a little chat with his club about what it takes to be a championship caliber football team at halftime, and you can believe it wasn't a nice discussion.
The kick. Alexander Wright a couple yards deep, and the rookie will bring it out. Maybe paid the price. Got it across the 18. That's about it. Bruce Perkins down there on the special teams put a shot on him.
Alexander Wright is a guy, they say, runs a 4.2, 4.3 40, and Jimmy Johnson said this guy is going to be a difference maker for the Cowboys down the line. It's hard to coach speed. It makes you look real good if you're a coach. You got a guy that's running that fast.
He says he's not one of those guys that you have to say if he learns to catch or if he learns to run patterns. He can do that right now. It's just a matter of experience. There you see the Dallas ground game has definitely improved in one half, doing better than normally for a whole game. They pick up where they left off. Emmitt Smith again. Smith out to about the 27-yard line.
Emmitt Smith, you know, first-round draft choice and all the rest of that. We talked to him. We said, what do you like to do? He says, you know, I've got a train set at home. He says, now I'm going to buy a bigger train set, and I also have a toy. He wants to get a jet plane, a model jet plane, to play with that as well. So little train wants a big train or a bigger train.
He can probably buy a normal-sized train. Here he comes. And he's going to get a first down as he went airborne. Behind his offensive line. Jimmy Johnson said yesterday, you know, this is a game we could win. He said, maybe the biggest game we've had since I've been here, which sounds strange when you're talking about playing Tampa Bay, but if they turn the corner here, it could be pretty good down the road for him.
And what he's looking at is the maturity of his team if they can come in and win a tough ball game against a good opponent like Tampa Bay.
Aikman to throw on first down. McKinnon, nice move. And he's got it out where he was face masked at the 45. They're going to tack on extra yardage after a 16-yard pickup.
Silky D is now playing for the Big D. Silky D has always had good moves, Dennis McKinnon, and one of the things that he does after the catches, he runs well. A couple of shakes there, and then he gets past Rice, but that's an experienced receiver, knowing which way to cut, and you see the face mask right there as he goes out of bounds.
Rodney Rice got his hand in the cage, so they'll tack some extra yardage on.
Jimmy Johnson told us that Dennis McKinnon, what he brought to this team as a Plan B guy, was just absolutely invaluable in terms of the intangibles and the experience and maturity.
Number 31, defense, first down.
Yeah, we got it already, Pat.
Rodney Rice, not a flagrant face mask, so they'll move it just into Buccaneer territory. Irving, Texas Stadium, where the Cowboys lead 7-3 here early third quarter. Alonzo Highsmith this time